Hey, what is going on, guys? Coming at you with another deck profile for the July 2015 Konami ban list, and today I'll be showing you guys my trap monsters. So I actually just finished building this deck last night at my locals and actually gave it a go. It was actually my first time playing it in real life, didn't have any kind of playtest or anything like that. I ended up going X1, going third place, and did get a prize pack, so I definitely could not complain about that. Had a lot of fun. I think the deck performed well. Its only loss was to Shaddolls, which is kind of a bad matchup, and you know, when you get Denko brought out on you game 2 and you have no answers for it and you get OTK, nothing you can do, you know. So I actually did make a few changes to this build since I played it last night. I was previously playing a mini Necro Valley engine with 2 Gravekeepers Commandant, 2 Necro Valley, and World Tribute, and I decided to cut that for something you'll see in the main deck here. I also kind of tweaked around a few other cards to try to make the build a bit better, but definitely still think it could use some improvements, and feel free to let me know in the comment section below what you guys think about this build, and give me any recommendations you guys have as far as cards that can make this deck better. So starting off with the monsters, we have the 2 Calculator. I literally had to sift through our comments box to try to find these 2 to finish up the build. I definitely would consider playing a third, but it can clog. You know, there are times where you don't have the monster on board to really make this, you know, as good as it can be. But obviously, if you have your trap monster on board, if you happen to have another monster like say Thunder King Ryo or something like that, it can get really, really big and can just put on a lot of damage on board with how big it can get. Then we have the 2 Card-Cardee. Obviously, with trap monsters, you're mostly wanting to special summon them on your opponent's turn. So you're not really losing much by going Card-Cardee and just getting 2 draws if you really don't have the ability to put damage on board that turn. Then we have, in place of that Necro Valley engine I talked about, we have the hand engine, the 2 Fire Hand and 2 Ice Hand. Really what I like about this over the Necro Valley engine is it actually adds something to your own game state and your own deck. It's just really good for you know, stalling, deck thinning, giving you a bit of a rank 4 engine, and also for just popping annoying cards your opponents may have. Can get rid of annoying back row, annoying monsters, and can also be an out to annoying things like Denko Sekka and Road Decree. Then we have the 2 Effect Failure. Really the biggest thing that can give this deck a problem is you know, explosive monster effects like Trishula, Exciton Knight, Castel, Sator Knight, Triver, so on and so forth. So effect failures here in the main to try to stop those effects and protect the trap monsters. Then for the final monster, we have the 1 Thunder King Ryo, because this deck barely searches. Just a really good anti-meta monster and a pretty beefy 1900 as well. So that is it for the monsters. Now on to spells. Starting off, we have the Triple Paw Duality for the same reason as Card Car. Really the only time you use special summon on your turn is if you have to make an extra deck play, which is very rare for this deck. The 2 Magic Planter. This is good for getting rid of any trap monsters you don't need anymore, getting rid of Imperial Custom that's dead on board, or getting rid of a dead Fiendish Chain. Just get a couple more cards and get to those combo cards that you need. Then for the final spell, we have the 1 Raigeki. So now on to the traps. Starting off, we have definitely the MVP of the trap monsters right here, the Triple Statue of Anguish pattern. This summons itself as a level 7 monster, 0 attack, 2500 defense. If you control another trap monster, it cannot be targeted by card effects, which is really good. Then if you summon another trap monster while this is on board, you can destroy 1 card on the field. It does stack, and it's not a once per turn effect, so like say you can kind of manipulate your chains to where you can get multiple destructions off of this. I have had a couple chains where I've gotten to get 2 destructions off of the 1 Statue of Anguish pattern, because I go like Chainlink 1 and Chainlink 2, 2 other trap monsters, and then Chainlink 3 statues. So just really good for popping cards, really, you know, just a really good defensive card all around. Then we have the Free Abyss Stun Ray. It's a level 5 light, which means you can overlay these into Pleiades. It's 1900 attack, 0 defense, and it cannot be destroyed by battle. Really the reason I like playing this at free is because it's one of the very few good standalone trap monsters, for the fact that it can't be destroyed by battle and can kind of, you know, stick around for a couple of turns potentially. Then we have 2 of each Tiki, the 2 Tiki Curse and 2 Tiki Soul. They're both level 4 monsters. Curse is Dark, 1800 attack, 1000 defense. Soul is an Earth, 1000 attack, 1800 defense. With Curse, anytime another one of your trap monsters is would battle an opponent's monster, it destroys that monster at the end of the damage step. So it especially combos off well with, say, Abyss Stun Ray that wouldn't be destroyed by battle anyway. Then with Tiki Soul, if another one of your trap monsters would be destroyed by battle or card effects, you can just reset them instead. So just really good for saving your trap monsters and also for combos with Anguish Pattern. Then we have the 2 Zoma the Spirit. It's another level 4 Dark. So with Zoma the Spirit and Tiki Curse, you do have the ability to go into Master Key Beetle, which is pretty good for the deck. It's 1800 attack, 500 defense, summons itself in defense position, and then if it's destroyed by battle by your opponent's monster, you inflict damage to your opponent equal to the attack of that monster. So you can kind of use it as a beater and also use it to just get a lot of damage on board against a big monster your opponent controls. Then for one of trap monsters, we have the 1 Cyber Shadow Gardener. This you can actually only summon during your opponent's main phase, and then if your opponent tries to attack it, it copies the attack and defense of that monster, so they'll just basically have to try to crash into it. And then if it does survive until the end phase, it actually resets itself, so you have some really awesome wombo combos with Statue of Anguish Pattern, to where you can just repeatedly pop cards turn after turn after turn with it, and it just combos off really well with Imperial Custom because you're not going to be able to get rid of it by battle. Then for the final trap monster, we have the 1 Metal Reflect Slime. It is a level 10, which is really good in combination with Calculator. 0 attack, 3000 defense, so it's kind of really hard to get over by battle, so that's the biggest reason why you play it. Then we have the Free Fiendish Chain for effect negation, attack stopping. Is also good because it is a continuous trap that is protected under custom and that you can sack off with Magic Planter. Then speaking of custom, we have the 2 Imperial Custom. This prevents all continuous traps on the field, including your opponents, from being destroyed by card effects, so do keep that in mind. You can only control 1 Imperial Custom. Definitely would consider playing a 3rd because it is such a key piece to the deck for protecting your trap monsters, but it can potentially clog a 3, so I feel like 2 is fine for now. Then we have the 2 Mirror Force to protect your trap monsters from battle and also clear your opponent's board to try to go in for some damage. Then for 1-0s, we have the 1 Solemn Warning and then the 1 Torrential Tribute, which can combo off really well with custom because, of course, your trap monsters won't be destroyed if you torrential and you have custom on board. So that is it for the main deck. Total of 40 cards. It was 11 monsters, 6 spells, and 23 traps. Now on to the extra deck. So starting off for rank 4s, we have Abyss Dweller, Karen Gorgon for redirecting targeting effects away from trap monsters and Imperial Custom, Castel, Dark Rebellion, Diamond Dire Wolf for getting rid of annoying cards, Exciton Knight, Cowboy for game, 101, Diamond Crab King for that towers out, number 66 Master Key Beetle. As I said, you do have the ability to go into it with Tiki Curse and Zoma the Spirit, and it is a good way to protect those trap monsters and also Imperial Custom. Then we have the combo of Ptolemaeus and Diamond for bringing Abyss and Shaddolls. Then since Abyss Stun Ray is a rank 5, we do have a couple rank 5s here. I do unfortunately not own Pleiades, so I do not have that in here, but I definitely would put that in here if I did have it. We have the 1 Artifact Durendal, the 1 Volcasaurus, which is a really good game ender card, and then finally the 1 Gaia Dragon, which you can use 2 Anguish Patterns to go into, and you can also just overlay on top of any of your rank 5s. And then if I did have the money for it, I would also consider playing Big Eye and Draco Sack, since again your Anguish Patterns are level 7s that you can potentially go into a rank 7 with. So that is it for the extra deck. Now to wrap it up with the side deck. So starting off, we obviously have the 3 MST. I always feel like with this card, no matter what deck you're playing, you need to have 3 MST somewhere in your deck, especially for a deck like this that loses to Decree, loses a Trap Stun, loses to any kind of Trap Negation, so that's why MST is good. Then we do have the 2 Necro Valley inside. It does have some interesting matchups against a lot of the meta out there. Pretty good against Necros. I find it really good against the Tower Knights because it stops them from reviving anything from the graveyard, which is really, really good. Really good against the Fernoids, obviously. Has a decent like BA and Shaddol matchup overall, but I just don't find it really good enough game 1. Doesn't really contribute enough to the deck for me to really want to play it in the main deck, but it is still a good anti-meta card. And it also does not take up a back row since it is a field spell, so that is also something to consider. Then we have the 2 Zombie World. Really good for shutting down the Clee Fort matchup since they can't tribute some of their monsters. And then of course, again, it is a field spell, so it doesn't commit anything to your back row. The 2 Chaos Trap Hole, since of course the Sect does lose the Denko, and just really good against those light and dark based decks like Tower Knights, Burning Abyss, Shaddolls, so on and so forth. The 2 Imperial Iron Wall, can kind of do a lot of the same things that Necro Valley does against like Necros and Infernoids, but unfortunately Necro Valley does nothing to Spiritual Beast. That is why I did kind of want to put in the Imperial Iron Wall, because it is also protected by custom. So against, like, say, Necros and Infernoids, I could potentially just side both Necro Valley and Iron Wall, and then against Spiritual Beasts, I'll have the 2 Iron Wall there to try to stop them as well. Then we have the 2 Mind Crush, which I definitely would replace with Mistake if I had them, because it is a floodgate that just stops searching, which you really don't do that much, and it is something, again, that can be protected by custom. Then for the final side card, we have the 2 Shadow Mirror for, of course, stopping Burning Abyss and Shaddolls. So that is it for the deck profile on my trap monsters. I do hope you guys enjoyed it. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. As I said, let me know in the comment section below what you think about trap monsters, what you think about my build, any suggestions you guys may have as far as how I can make the deck better. Let me know all of that in the comments. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys next time.